The Legend of War, Attic, full epic story. After surviving countless vaults and the chaos of the borderlands, he had arrived on this strange, untamed planet, seeking the next challenge. The air itself thrummed with energy, almost alive, whispering in tones only the bravest or the most insane could hear. Chapter 1. Arrival. The descent had been silent, almost reverent, as if the planet itself had swallowed the roar of impact. War Attic's ship lay half buried in a dune of shimmering dust, smoke curling softly into the violet dusk. No fire, no echo, only the low hum of cooling metal and the whisper of alien wind tracing the scars of his landing. Stepping carefully over fractured rock and shifting sand, vault symbols glimmered faintly across the terrain, marking secrets buried beneath the alien world. Well, this looks fun, he muttered, scanning the horizon. Every sound felt amplified. The crunch of his boots, the faint rustle of alien foliage, the distant roar of unknown creatures. Crithion tested him immediately. A gust of wind threw him off balance, and the ground beneath seemed to pulse with a life of its own. But War Attic pressed forward, curiosity burning brighter than fear. Chapter 2. Vanishing Arsenal. As War explored deeper, he noticed something unsettling. He reached for his favorite sniper, then it was gone. His pistols, shotguns, grenades, one by one, all vanished, leaving only the unkempt Harold. "What the hell is this place?" he growled, spinning to check his back. Each loss was a jolt of panic, yet the Harold remained steady, glowing faintly, connected to War Attic's very soul. By the end of the day, he understood. This weapon had survived because it was more than a tool. It was a legendary. Chapter 3. The Awakening of the Harold. The Harold pulsed with awareness. As War fired it against alien creatures, the weapon seemed to anticipate movements, almost guiding his aim. "Okay, you're alive, aren't you?" War muttered. The Harold's glow flared with each nod in affirmation, if weapons could nod. Crithion's energy had awakened it, linking it directly to him. For the first time he felt unstoppable, not because of skills at hand, but because the Harold and he were one. And for a moment he did not feel alone. Chapter 4. Finding a base. Deep in the cavern, a frantic mechanical voice interrupted his thoughts. "Hello, minion! Hi, I am your new best friend." War turned to find Clappy spinning in circles around piles of scrap, half-broken turrets and glowing fungi. "This is your base?" War asked. "Base? Pfft! This is the pinnacle of fortress awesomeness. Every corner perfectly optimized-ish." Despite the chaos, War could see the potential. With some effort, this junkyard could become a stronghold. Chapter 5. New Sanctuary. As Clapp attempted to declare war his minion. "You will be my minion. In exchange you get..." War rolled his eyes. "Fine. Whatever keeps you quiet." From that moment on, Clappy insisted on calling him minion at every opportunity. Together they transformed the cavern into new sanctuary. Supplies stacked, defenses repaired, glowing fungi harvested for light, and broken turrets salvaged. War had a home base, and for the first time on Crithion, it felt like they weren't just surviving, they were preparing. Chapter 6. Distress Signal. Deep in the cavern, War uncovered a rusted communications console buried under layers of scrap. The screen was shattered, the wiring chewed by time, but the core still hummed faintly. It was their best chance at connecting to anyone or anything beyond Crithion. He soldered wires, stripped panels, and forced circuits back into place. Clapp helped by handing him the wrong tools and singing off-key songs about minions. After days of grinding, the system flickered to life with a crackle of static. For the first time since he'd landed, War had a voice that could reach the stars, or hear them. At first, silence. Then, nothing but faint echoes and interference. But one night,
as storms clawed at the planet's skies. The system lit up. A voice broke through, ragged with panic. "Help! Help! I'm crash landing into this planet. Systems failing. Don't know where I'm at. Coordinates!" The transmission was chaotic, cutting in and out, but the numbers came through clear, burned into the console. War eyes narrowed. Whoever it was, they weren't far. The voice came again, urgent, desperate. "My name is Gunzerker." Then silence. A final boom echoed through the comms, followed by the sickening screech of a ship tearing itself apart. Eventually, the signal died out, leaving both of them in shock. War leaned over the console, fists clenched. A crash site, a survivor, or a corpse, waited somewhere out in Krithion's wasteland. Behind him, Clapp gasped. "Ooh, a new recruit. I call dibs on being his best friend. Unless he's taller than you, then I hate him." He ignored the robot, eyes locked on the glowing coordinates. Krithion had just sent him another test, and this one came screaming out of the sky.
Chapter 7. The Rescue. The glow from New Sanctuary faded behind him as War Attic pushed across Krithion's crimson plains. Storm clouds churned above, casting fractured shadows across the rocky terrain. The coordinates led him here only a few hundred meters from his target. He could just make out a small figure struggling near a craggy cliff. Gunzerker, but Krithion had other plans. A roar shattered the air, vibrating through the ground. From the shadows of a crystalline canyon it emerged, a creature whose aura radiated as strong as an invincible. Its armor glinted with alien metal, jagged claws scraping the earth as it lunged forward. War barely had time to dodge, rolling as the creature smashed the ground where he had just stood. He fired the herald, each shot erupting in a fiery explosion. The creature staggered, but didn't fall. It was huge, relentless, an apex predator that had survived countless intruders on Krithion, and War realized with a sinking feeling that he might have underestimated it. Gunzerker was pinned beneath a fallen spire, weapons sparking but useless against the beast. War yelled, sprinting forward, dodging shards of crystal and energy blasts. He unleashed every trick in his arsenal. Explosions rocked the ground, sparks flew as the herald sang its fiery song. But then a swipe of the Invincible's claw caught him, sending him flying across the plain. Pain exploded across his side. His vision blurred, his strength waned. The creature roared triumphantly. War's fingers brushed the dirt, trying to rise, but his body refused. Somewhere behind him, Gunzerker struggled to free himself, looking helpless. War eyes met his. "You can't," he rasped. But instead of panicking, Zerker clenched his jaw, realizing he had to lock in. In that moment, the roles reversed. Zerk somehow managed to break free, allowing himself to grip the one weapon that was still attached to his waist, aimed carefully, and fired at the Invincible's vulnerable flank. The beast shrieked, staggering, and Gunzerker's shots struck true. War felt the ground shift beneath him as the creature collapsed, finally defeated. Pain racked his body, but his eyes caught Zerker extending a hand, helping him rise. War Attic started, but Gunzerker shook his head. "You saved me," he said simply, voice steady despite the adrenaline. "Figured it's my turn." War's lips curled into a faint grin despite the ache in his chest. The bond was forged, not just by survival, but by trust, by respect.
Chapter 8. Gunzerker's Perspective. The crash hit like a hammer to his chest. Metal screamed as Gunzerker's ship tore through Krithion's stormy skies, flames licking the hull. Lights flickered, systems failed, warning sirens screamed in his ears as the ground rushed up to meet him, and then silence. When he awoke, the world was an alien red wasteland. Panic surging through Zerk's systems, realizing he couldn't move because he was stuck in between wreckage. Then he saw him. War. The Vault Hunter was already in the thick of it, facing an Invincible as massive as the cliffs themselves. Zerker froze, trying to put a grip on the situation they were both facing. And as he watched, every shot, every swing, every explosive War used was a blur of fury and fire. He tried to move, to intervene, but a fallen spire pinned him against the ground. Panic clawed up his throat. No, not like this. I can't just stay here and do nothing. The ground shivered under the creature's roars, rocks flying, explosions igniting the red skies. Each strike War landed, each dodge he made, showed the divine art within, terrifying yet beautiful. Gunzerker clenched his fists, unable to act, feeling utterly powerless. And yet, even in that fear, a spark lit inside him. War wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for him too. The spire shifted just enough, and with a surge of adrenaline, Zerker pried himself free. He stumbled to his feet. That's when he saw it, a gun that was still attached to the right side of his waist, not knowing because he was half immersed in debris before. The barrel hummed softly, pulsing in rhythm as if it followed his heartbeat, the grog nozzle. He was confused because this was not the weapon he originally had hostled to his side. But it was there, whispers of such weapon hidden in the vaults, but never has one been seen until now. It felt wrong and right all at once, as if the weapon had been waiting for him, sensing him in the chaos. The Invincible was distracted, staggering from War's last assault before getting knocked over. Zerker didn't hesitate. He aimed the grog nozzle down, and it roared to life, spewing fire and healing concoctions that both bolstered War Attic and hammered the beast back. Damaged enough so that Zerker could land the final blow, the beast was brought to his end. Gunzerker took a deep breath, extended a hand to War, offering more than just help. It was thanks. It was respect and acknowledgement all at once. "You saved me," Zerk said, voice ragged but proud. "Now we're even."
Chapter 9. Return to New Sanctuary. As they approached to the new sanctuary, neither spoke. Words felt unnecessary as the bond had been forged in the chaos of battle and near death, which has spoken louder than words can say. When they eventually reached the fortified cavern, Clap zipped forward, spinning in endless circles. "Minion, reporting for duty. Whoa! Your guns, they're on fire. Not literally, but like, you know, metaphorically. Wow!" War shook his head, though a small chuckle escaped. Zerker just flexed, feeling the pulse of the grog nozzle in his hands. Now a fortress that had once been a pile of scrap left to the stragglers, but brought to life, not because of walls or defenses, but because of the hunters standing inside it. 2 OG Vault Hunters, weapons ready fused to their very humanity, uniting them as a powerful force that's not to be reckoned with. A silent warning to Crithion. The legends have arrived. Chapter 10. The Calm Before the Storm. The skies became dark out of nowhere, making everyone confused, as if a giant boulder was blocking the very little light there was. "Something's different," Zerker said, scanning the horizon. There indeed was something in the way. A figure halted, and the wind died. Silence fell, and the air seemed to hum. The shadowed being's intent was unclear, both hunters uneased, thinking of one factor. What could be so big that covers the light? Raising their weapons, ready to fight. Chapter 11. Critharion arrives. The massive figure loomed over New Sanctuary, shadows swallowing the flickering lights of the cavern. War and Zerker prepared for bloodshed at any moment, raising their weapons, expecting the worst, ready for the hunt, War muttered. The creature stepped closer. Each footfall made the ground tremble, and the air itself seemed to hum. The distant roars of Crithion's creatures faded. "Something's different," Zerker said. The creature lowered a clawed hand. "Vault Hunters, I am not your enemy. I am Critharion, guardian of this world." "Then why appear so terrifying?" War asked. "Fear is often mistaken for hostility," Critharion rumbled. "The creatures you see are drawn to chaos, but I maintain balance. They have scattered because I have sensed your arrival. You fight for survival and justice, as do I. Together,
we can face what lies ahead. So, you're here to help? Zerka asked. Yes, Critharion replied. But what approaches is unlike anything you've faced. Prepare yourselves, Vault Hunters, as the true test of Crithion has only just begun.
Chapter 12. The Assault. The Plan at Hand. The two put their differences aside and allied themselves with the giant. Indeed, the smartest choice the hunters have made, as Critharion was a literal living guardian of the planet, showing only good intent. Thou Critharion had left something important out, revealing the true nature of the situation at hand. Silence! Please! Critharion yelled. I must tell the hunters something I failed to acknowledge. In the hush before the dying sun, when shadows choke the trembling air, Critharion rose from shattered stone, a figure carved from storms and prayer. His voice a quiet thunder spoke across a land in morning breath, the plague you fear, the crawling dark, the whisper riding wings of death. It is no stranger to my soul, no curse that came from realms unknown. The blackened haze that scars this world was birthed beside me, blood and bone, my brother. Critharion's voice rumbled, heavy with sorrow. Vault Hunters, long ago my brother Crithareno and I ruled Crithion. An artifact fell from Pandora, corrupting him with venomous energy. He turned against the planet, against me. The creatures, the chaos, you face the result of his darkness. To save Crithion and the galaxy, sacrifice may be necessary. The cause of all of this destruction on my home, my love will always be. But for we to prosper, he must be put to an end. Together, they planned a synchronized strike that nothing could endure. Chaos was indeed coming. Chapter 13. The Battle. The heart of Crithion throbbed like a living nightmare. Black veins of corruption crawled across the cracked landscape, writhing like sentient shadows. War, Zerka, and Critharion stood at the edge of the crater, weapons glowing in unison. From the crater emerged Crithareno, monstrous and writhing with dark energy. "You cannot stop me, brother," he roared. The trio fought with every ounce of strength they had, blasting, smashing, and dodging the artifact's lethal energy that Crithareno was unleashing upon them. Harold and the Grog fired in tandem as Critharion's fists shattered legions of corrupted creatures. "For Crithion, for the galaxy, we give all," Critharion cried, just as the artifact's explosion reached its peak, threatening to obliterate Crithion itself. The world fractured around them, space warped, and a tremendous force lifted War, Zerka, and Critharion off the ground. War thinking in that moment, as to what had the tremendous force to life a giant off the ground. The artifact detonated below, tearing the planet in a storm of shadow and light, but they were no longer there. Chapter 14. The Finale. Who and How. When the blinding energy faded, they hovered in a strange, calm void. The world around them was neither dark nor light, just a soft, endless twilight that seemed to breathe. A gentle mist drifted in slow, deliberate patterns, as if the air itself was alive and thinking. There was no wind, no sound, yet the silence felt deep enough to press against their skin. Far in the distance, if distance even existed here, faint glimmers pulsed like distant stars sinking underwater. Each glow brightened and dimmed in a soothing rhythm, but every pulse carried a quiet unease, as though something unseen was watching from behind the light. A glowing figure emerged, radiant tattoos pulsating like molten light. "Who are you?" War whispered, awestruck. "I am a siren," she said, her voice melodic yet commanding. "I have watched your journey, your courage, your will to fight against impossible odds. That bravery earned you your lives. The artifact's destruction would have consumed you, but not today." Zerka stepped forward, astonished. "You saved us. Why?" The siren's eyes glimmered with ancient knowledge. "Because the real journey begins now. Your bravery has proven you are worthy, not just to survive, but to shape the fate of this galaxy. I have been watching, guiding,
waiting for the right moment to intervene, and that moment is now. War looked at his glowing herald, then Zerka's pulsing grog nozzle, feeling a surge of renewed energy. So, we're not done? No, the siren replied, fading into the shimmering void. You are only at the threshold. Greater challenges, darker foes, and the destiny of countless worlds await you. Prepare yourselves, Vault Hunters, as there is no rest for the wicked.